offensive line,
Yes.
it would be perfect to absorb a guy like Jalen Carter. Fletcher Cox. Remember that name, too.
Guys, Subway's taking us down to the stage, and Susie, who's with Bijan. Susie.
Another childhood dream comes true. How does this all tie back to your granddad, Cleo?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I just want to say give honor to God for blessing me to be here with everybody and giving me the gift to be out here. And my grandpa, he's so ecstatic right now. And, just doing it with him and being a part with him, it's so incredible, so amazing. But can't wait to celebrate them and see what he says.
You've already been doing community work in Austin. What should the Atlanta community know about what they're getting in Bijan Robinson?
Oh, I mean, they're just getting such a positive guy, that obviously loves football, but wants to help the city, just grow even more than it already is. And, for me, my heart is out there for everybody. And, I'm going to bring my faith and my positivity, my happiness, my smile to every kid, every teenager, every adult, everybody out there. So, I hope they accept me for me, and it's going to be a great time.
Welcome to the NFL.
Thank you.
Susie, thank you. Lewis.
Yeah, look, when you're just talking about Philadelphia and them being on the clock right now, and we're having this discussion about Jalen Carter, I mean, just think of some of the other names. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick. These guys are all pros. When you talk about strong personality, they will absolutely take a young player and say, hey, look, this is how we do it. We were a couple snaps away from winning the Super Bowl. No one's going to wreck what we got going on here. It would be perfect. It'd be perfect.
The Bears move back one spot here, and as you see, they pick up a fourth-round pick for next season. Philadelphia wanting to be aggressive in this spot, moving up one place, maybe believing someone else was going to come up and take a player that they were interested in. Again, a lot of signals here maybe pointing towards Jalen Carter, who is Mel Kiper's #1 player on his big board. Mel, that does seem the direction that might make sense here, but we've not yet heard anything official.
Yeah, the Eagles tend to want to invest in the trenches in these first-round picks. That's why I thought it'd be interesting if Bijan was there. Would they take him? Peter Skoronski, offensive lineman out of Northwestern, is the kind of guy they need in life. Obviously, Jalen Carter in the mix as well.
Let's find out right now. Here's the commissioner.
The Chicago Bears have traded the 9th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 9th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia.
So there it is. The football part of his story is easy. 6 sacks, 103 tackles, caught a touchdown, 3 sensational seasons at Georgia, a former 5-star recruit out of Apopka, Florida. But as we discussed earlier at great length, the complicated part of the story, pleading no contest to charges of reckless driving and racing stemming from an incident in which 2 people were killed. So this was, in its own way, the most difficult decision of this draft. Let's go to Shefty and Chris Mortensen for the insight into how it was made. Guys?
Yeah, I can tell you here, Greeny, the Philadelphia Eagles went back and forth on this pick. And Drew Rosenhaus, the agent, called Howie Roseman today to begin to try to work with him, put Jalen Carter on the phone with the Eagles to try to convince them to take him. I think early in this process, the Eagles were not thinking of Jalen Carter. But when the board fell the way it did, he was the one player there that they loved, and they decided to move up one slot to try to take him.
But he was a tough discussion for a lot of teams. I know at least 3 teams picking in front of the Eagles that took him off their draft board, Greeny.
All right, Mel, he was the #1 player on your board.
Yeah, great player for 2 years in a row, and I think what impressed me this year in terms of his football ability, he had the ankle injury against Oregon, first game of the season, right? So he's out, sprained MCL against Missouri October 1st, comes back from that against Florida October 29th, finished out the season and helped his football team, this Georgia defense, this overall team, win their 2nd straight national title when, hey, Jackson Smith and Jigba had a hamstring, didn't play. Jalen Carter came back and played, and he really assisted this team. He had 31 quarterback hurries. As I say, they give away hurries at Georgia, they give away candy on Halloween. But again, Jalen Carter was in the backfield a lot. Credit with 32 tackles. I'll tell you what, 6'3", 315 pounds. A guy who is tough to block. The interior pressure he gets on a consistent basis wreaks havoc, and it really affects quarterbacks. Jalen Carter didn't have any issues. He's in the mix to be the 1st, 2nd, 3rd pick overall guaranteed. The character concerns obviously pushed him down the draft board to a point where the Eagles, who invest in the trenches on a regular basis and have the strong locker room leadership to make it happen with Jalen Carter.
You know, when I studied this player, to me, and Ndamukong Suh jumped out on tape, but he's a twitched-up version. A guy that can rush the passer inside out. And how about the irony? He went to Apopka High School in Orlando, Florida. You know who else went there? Warren Sapp. You know who fell in the draft also? Warren Sapp, and he's a Hall of Famer. You see the emotion on the young man's face. It means something to him. So whatever happened off the field, let's hope the organization feel it. We talked about the structure. They can take care of this young man because he's got that type of potential. He can play with power. He can play with speed. He dominated when he wanted to. The key is the National Football League, you got to be able to do it snap in and snap out. He's about 15 pounds too heavy. He's got to get in better shape. If he shows up like the Jalen Carter when Jordan Davis was at Georgia, the guy that was the alpha, the guy that led the room, the guy that is now in Philadelphia, so they pair those two back together, can he be that dominant player? It'll be outstanding.
All right, Subway is taking us back down to the stage. Susie is with Jalen Carter. Susie.
Jalen, you're arguably the most talented player on the best team in the country, but this process felt unpredictable. How would you describe just the range of emotions that you've gone through over the last few months?
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I just want to thank God. I want to thank my mom, thank my family for being out here for me and supporting me. And, you know, it's time to work. The Eagles got the best player in the draft. I'm for the show it.
The Eagles guys got on the phone with you today. What did you tell them?
And I told them they got the best player in the draft. And, you know, day one, when I get there, it's time to work. And we're going to win the Super Bowl.
And you've got former teammates there already. Yeah. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot. Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean, you know, I'm for to come there, talk to them guys, and we for the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's show you, Lewis, as we get your thoughts here on Jalen Carter, let's show you just how special the performance from this young man was.
Look, this guy, I'm telling you, it's like a man playing with boys. His quickness, when you talked about, just look at that forearm shift right there. I mean, he's going against offensive linemen now who are 3'10", 315, and he's just throwing them around. And then look at this bull rush. That push-pull. You push him, you get him off balance and jerk him, throw him on the ground. He's got the arm over. He can get on an edge now. He can take an edge and win with it as far as on third down and getting pressure on the quarterback. But I'll tell you what, between him and Jordan Davis now in Philadelphia, when you think of that combination, I can tell you this, Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, the veterans along that defensive line, will get this young man ready to go. They will not allow him to lower the standard in Philly. And if he holds up his end of the bargain, they are monstrous across the D-line because it's just highlight after highlight with this guy, Book. That right there at 315 pounds, it's effortless. Effortless.
And for a team that led the National Football League in sacks with 70 sacks, this is a position of strength. So they take a strength and they add to it. And now they have the ability to be one of the most physical units, not only offensively, but defensively. I love the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And this young man has got to go in and approach the game like a professional. If he does that, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, just to reiterate, the last two times this happened, Warren Sapp, number 3 on my board, dropped to 12, right? Turned out to be a great player. Laramie Tunsil, number 1 on the board, dropped to 13, turned out to be a heck of a player. Jalen Carter, number 1 on the board, drops to 9. We'll see if it'll be 3 in a row that drop because of character concerns and turn out to be really good players.
Yep. No, I'm just look. Philadelphia has followed their MO to a T ever since Jeffrey Lurie has owned this team. Build it inside out, front to back, man. They don't deviate.
All right, the Chicago Bears moved back one spot, and they're ready to make the 10th pick in this draft after Jalen Carter went 9 to Philadelphia. Here we go.